So here we are at the Fairmont Copley. This is my second Boston Marathon, third time staying in the hotel. We've got, all of the elites of past and present staying in right here with the John Hancock Elite, and I am one of them.
Esther! Esther! Woo!
I just ran marathon effort. I ran the effort that I knew I could finish a marathon in today. And I knew by the splits that I was running that it was hot. That's how I knew what temperature it was. It was 6-minute pace temperature. And so that's I just kept on clicking away and let some people go at about 9 miles. And they ended up coming back to me and ended up 13th place. And I can't be more grateful to everybody who's supported me on the way here, and the crowds were incredible. Boston's always amazing, and I was blowing kisses and throwing heart signs the whole way up until like 19 or so, and then all you could do was hold thumbs up, and that was the best I could do. So when I first showed up at Case's campus, I didn't have any intentions of being a post-collegiate runner, or sorry, not even that, a collegiate runner. I had actually sent in, they send out a little questionnaire saying, which sports do you want to, maybe, what are you interested in? And I had checked off cross country kind of half-heartedly, maybe track and field. I, completely forgot about it, never thought twice about it after April or March or something, and ended up not really taking care of myself over the summer. I was barely running, and then I showed up to campus, though I still looked fit, and I, did what kids do during orientation and had a bunch of fun, and then the next morning I got up and went and checked out the rec center, and some lady walked up to me while I was on the treadmill and said, "Hey, you look like a runner. Do you want to go get a physical?" And I said, "Who are you?" And so it turned out it was one of my best friends since that day. And she took me from somebody who was kind of half-hearted, not really into it, not really totally committed, running barely. I only broke 22 minutes in cross country one time, and my freshman year. And then by the spring, I was a lot more hooked in, and ended up running 18:42, I think, or something, 18:40 something on the track by the end of the year. So I'd taken 3 minutes off my 5K time, and ended up after that first year qualifying for nationals every single season, and becoming an NCAA Division III champ in the 10,000 meters. Since I've become an elite runner, I look back on my college days and I am incredibly grateful that I happened to go to a Division III school. Like I said, I didn't intend on being a collegiate runner at all, but had I been at a Division I program, nobody would have approached me and asked me to be on the team. Not in 2004, maybe back in the 80s. I think, the Princeton coach had some stories about that back in the 80s, but not in 2004. And I'm really grateful that I had that opportunity. Obviously, I came in wanting to be a performer in one way and be a musician, and left Case Western wanting to still be a musician, but also knowing that I needed to also be a performer in running, and was able to accomplish both. And running ended up taking kind of the front seat eventually, and I know that music will still be there for the rest of my life, and I'm incredibly grateful to be able to kind of marry the two since day one. Okay, so when I first got to Case, I had only had one season of really indoor-outdoor my senior year of team or track and field experience. And so I really didn't know much about being on a team, and at that time, like, I had just started running, so I was far from the best on my team, and I really didn't have any kind of leadership experience in that type of scenario. I've been in choirs, and honestly, I think I had a kind of stuck-up attitude there too, and I definitely had to have a bit of an attitude adjustment while I was at Case, and it has been incredibly helpful in my post-collegiate career to have a little bit more humility and a voice that is definitely a lot more approachable and relatable. The captains on the team, my junior year, I had not been selected as a captain, and it turns out it was definitely the right call. I had this attitude where, like, I knew that I expected a lot from my teammates, and I think it ended up really helping the team in a lot of ways because a lot of people stepped up, and but if it hadn't been for those captains too, who kept the feeling of like a more joyful kind of community, that combination was just incredibly powerful. And I think, with my kind of spearhead and their comfort, together we were able to really have a great time. And there was this moment where they all, I think, well, 2 official captains and 1 unofficial captain and another friend of theirs, like, all approached me at the same time, and they're like, "Esther, we need you on board. Like, we need you with us. Can't have you against us." And I think while I may have cried, like I probably hurt my feelings a little bit, but I realized that they were right, that everybody isn't like me, that other people need different ways to be kind of motivated and stimulated, and that experience has definitely enriched me in terms of my own coaching experience now, and my teammate experience, and the way that I approach running in general. And Karen Wheeler was one of those captains, Karen Wheeler Marciniak now, and she's one of my best friends. She was in my wedding, and it's just a lifelong relationship that we were able to create. My most significant training partners, the first person who actually would run with me on a regular basis at Case Western was Karen. It was after she had finished her senior year of cross country and she wasn't really competing in track, and she decided that her primary training run of the day or of the week would be my Sunday long run. She committed to running with me, which was great because it motivated her, it pushed her a little bit harder, and it held me back and kept me from kind of running myself into the ground as much. While I was at Case, I had a lot of days that were, I had a lot of pressure on myself. I had put that pressure on myself, and it worked out fine when I was the best in the field and I had no problem winning. But as soon as I went to nationals, it was an issue because I was not used to not being able to win. And I had to wrap my head around that. I ended up having multiple panic attacks during nationals. And I'm able to kind of diagnose that now. In retrospect, I kind of knew it was happening then, and that's why Coach Lanise helped me to be able to kind of work through that some. But at the end of the day, I think it was my senior year, it definitely was my senior year, right before nationals. Coach said, "We're not leaving any stone unturned." She got me a massage. She got me a appointment with a sports psychologist, and honestly, that was kind of the beginning of figuring it all out. I had already sorted some things out kind of earlier that year, and that approach that I had learned is something that I still take today. And what I had done, I had managed to not be All-American a lot of races because of all those panic attacks. I had a terrible race in cross country, both junior, senior year, and then it was indoor senior year that I decided I would have teammates within the race. And of course, I was the only person who qualified as a distance runner from Case Western. So no, they weren't Case Western teammates, but they were other women who were in my conference who I could race against and race with, and knew that if I was with them, then I was in the right place and I wouldn't need to panic, even if I was in 8th place or 7th place or 10th place or 15th place. Didn't matter. I was able to definitely relax in that way, and it resulted in a 4th place finish, and that was huge for me. When I went to the sports psychologist, it was another coming to God moment where I kind of realized that he showed me the direct impact of my thoughts on my heart and my actual heartbeat. Like the next heartbeat after I thought a negative thought. It was, I started sobbing right there in his office when he showed it to me on the computer. Like, it was just, because I'm a research type of person, and when I could see clinical evidence of what everybody had been saying and what I'd kind of known but not known, it definitely opened my eyes. And he gave me techniques like counting and mantras, and just something that you can do that the idea is that if you're thinking negatively, you can't flip a switch and automatically think positively. You can't do it. People say think positive, but you can't do it. You just have to go back to that neutral zone, and finding the neutral zone of like counting or listening to your breath, or if your breathing is off, then don't listen to your breath, listen to your footsteps. And so I ended up listening to my footsteps a lot, and I count triplets, and I think that's partly because 3 steps should be to a second, and also because it's more interesting than a duple or a quadruple. I hand out advice. That's just kind of what I do, even if people don't ask for it. And so I often tell people, especially girls or guys who are, good but not the best in the high school level, I often tell them that Division III is the best thing that you could ever do for yourself, especially a program that really pays attention to individuals. There are a lot of great Division I programs out there, but many of them are able to kind of buy top athletes, and it takes a special kind of person to be able to have that pressure of a scholarship. I definitely recommend Division III to students who are incredibly gifted in another area and also want to run. It gives you the flexibility to be able to do everything you love and do it at a high level. And I know that had I not gone Division III, happened to go to a Division III school, there's no way I would have gotten picked up off the treadmill. There's no way I would have ended up being motivated enough to kind of make it to the top of my program. There's no way I could have ended up qualifying for nationals. Like, my times would have never qualified for Division I nationals, but because I was qualifying for nationals, it made me feel special. And it gave me an achievable goal. I think especially kids who are underdeveloped in high school, kids who maybe are very developed but haven't quite made it to the level that's necessary in order to be competitive in Division I. I think Division III is an incredible way to go, and the whole purpose of going to college in the first place is for education and for academics. And the Division III philosophy is that academics come first. I think that athletes and student athletes should choose their university based off of the academics that they want to pursue, and that athletics are icing on the cake, that you can also be excellent at that even if you are an excellent student, and all of us were. Our GPAs were incredible, especially given that there are so many engineers on the program, and it's really hard to get a good GPA. So many lawyers and doctors, and we've got, incredibly, achieved and accomplished people who have come out of the program. And I think if you're looking for a great place to have flexibility and also achieve in every area, in every aspect of your life, CASE is a great place to do that. So when I've been here, just coming to Boston, I walked across the street to the Trinity Church and listened to the music, and my heart melted. I mean, it is my home. Music is my home, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life in a church choir. I didn't know I was a runner, so yeah, there's no way I could have known that my high school career would have ended up here, and it definitely would not have ended up here without Coach Kathy Lanise and Case Western Reserve University. For recruiting and alumni and everything.
Yeah, it's going everywhere. This video's going viral, baby.
I love that they put me up on the New Year's Day. Like, that was a really cute photo shoot that they did too. That was nice.
I have a ball.
Here we are.
All right.
3 of my parents.
We always call her Mom. That's it. Great.
Yeah.
I just want to keep it
All right.
Love you, kiddo.
Cool.
So wonderful.
All right. Thanks.
Have a wonderful
Get this.
day. Enjoy. What do you have stuff planned?
I have to go to awards, I guess, at